Welcome to episode 1 of the Body, Mind, and Business podcast. This podcast is for entrepreneurs who want to turn their idea into a side hustle, turn their side hustle into their main hustle, and live lives of freedom and control. Brought to you by two dudes who've actually done it and are doing it every single day. My name's Kyle Russ. I'm one of the co-hosts. The other co-host is my homie, Evan Lander. And first off, I want to set some foundation. This is an entrepreneurship, and personal development podcast. Body, mind, and business means take care of your body, take care of your mind, it'll take care of your business, and then your business will take care of you. What do you have to say about that, Evan?
Yeah, man, we're just living it every day now. And it's really funny. I'm glad I got an opportunity to bring this up. But today when I was driving to the dog park and I was like, shit, I'm nervous about this. It just shows that I've become kind of like complacent and shit and just like comfortable even in the day-to-day of my own business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Totally I was like, shit, I haven't, like, I'm so comfortable with just like the day to day of just like waking up, going downstairs, making a cup of coffee, opening my computer, emails, orders, send shit out. And it was a big jump from when I left my job, and that was a huge leap. And then now I've gotten like really nice and easy and chill in my own company. And then when we were doing this podcast, and I was like, shit, I kind of had like butterflies in my stomach because, I think it was I think like we've passed all that shit now, but just even setting up this software and stuff like that, and like the lighting and stuff like that, like it's completely new. And yeah, it just really shows that you just really become stagnant quick.
Yeah, man. Your baseline, your normal just catches up right away, man. So you got to find those new ways to level up.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what I want to do. This is to help other people. Like we were talking about this before, about so much of the information out there is coming from people who are like 1,000 levels ahead of the people who are just starting, right? So it's like when you're getting advice from those people, it's like they're so far removed from the initial stages, and where me and you are, we're like a couple steps up from there, so we can like literally reach down and grab those people who want to get to that next level and stop and get out of that stagnation and get the ball rolling and start that entrepreneurial journey. So yeah, man, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about before the whole video thing crashed, but it's hard to I can't remember what I said earlier, but it's hard to, learn like calculus when you're in grade like 2 or 3 and you don't even have the basics down yet. You know what I mean? Like these guys have found their wealth, I think, and now they're trying to give back for fulfillment, because at the end of the day, we know that money doesn't equal happiness. Obviously it helps, but you can still find yourself like fairly empty. So these gurus are really trying to help, and I've learned a lot from them, from picking up little things here and there, but for the most part, I think it would be nice to have somebody that's in the trenches with you and not speaking to like such a massive audience. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And like for me, when I was on day one to getting to where I am now, I read hundreds of books, thousands of hours of podcasts, and probably literally like less than 5% of the information I got was actually applicable to that stage of where I was at. So yeah, people giving the nuts and bolts of those early stages, like how to start getting dollars rolling in the beginning, and like what you should focus on and what you shouldn't focus on, man. So yeah, it's like, and that's something that's missing in the entrepreneurial make money space. So yeah, I hope we can really fill that void for those people who are looking to level up their lives, become entrepreneurs.
You know what's interesting, what you just said about that, about all the reading, and you only probably used like 5% of the stuff that you read. And that's really funny that you bring that up, is because I remember some of the shit that you told me on your journey, and I have applied that to my business as well. And it was I can't remember the book that I think it was Ready, Fire, Aim, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. But you were telling me like if you are sub $1 million a year in revenue, don't worry about fucking packaging. Don't worry about taxes. Don't worry about anything. Like, you need revenue, And I've put off making packages, like boxes. Literally no one said anything about, I know we're kind of getting off topic here, but no one's ever said anything about just using like generic, boxes that I get from, Shout out to Staples.
Well, yeah, that you know what, that's perfect because that's a perfect lesson one for everyone who's listening. And that's, you're right. The book was called Ready, Fire, Aim, and
Right.
just by sheer luck, that book was recommended to me in the beginning, and that's chapter one. So when your revenue is between from zero, nothing, just started to a million, 90% of your efforts need to be focused on bringing in income, marketing, and sales. So
Yeah.
you shouldn't spend more than like an hour building your logo. You don't need plants for the office. You don't even need an
100%.
office space. You don't need any of that shit. All you need is customers, and that's it. Because if you don't have customers, none of the other stuff's going to matter.
100%.
So, and even for me, when I started, like I didn't do accounting or anything until like 4 years in. Retroactively, I didn't have anything, and I just kept pushing it off. Like, how can I get money coming in? So yeah, that's really, really an important lesson, and something, yeah, we can help people with, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's. I think this is going to provide a lot of value to a lot of people. Even just what we've spoke about in the last like 2 minutes, I've read a lot of books, and it's about building a team, and then different processes within the team to create like teams are massively important, but obviously not right at the beginning. When you're trying to get that revenue, and
Yeah.
and like you said, one of those things was the boxes. Who cares what it comes in?
Yeah, 100%, man. And when you're doing everything, it's like prioritizing is huge, man. You really got to like mostly know what not to do, like what are the things that are bringing in the dollars, and yeah, so
Yeah,
focusing on that.
that's
So
the most
really, really
important part is the revenue, 100%, hands down.
Yeah. So the vision I see for this, like, I know a lot of the information is like, it's like raw stuff, dude. Lots of motivation, which is good. You need to be motivated in order to like complete your
100%.
tasks for the day and all that stuff. But I feel like a lot of things are missing, like the nuts and bolts, like the actual A and B, C,
Yeah,
D, A to Z, you know what I
absolutely.
mean, of everything. And with some motivation in there too. And like, that's why I like the name Body, Mind, and Business, because like, man, you got to take care of your body. You got to take care of your mind. They take care of each other. They'll take care of your business, all that stuff too. So like, I really want it to be like really actionable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I've learned kind of along the way, when all these gurus, they say like, you need to have a crystal clear vision and all of these things, like, they kind of tell you what you need, but they don't really tell you why you need it. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like, and the body mind business, I think that this is what I've learned. This is my personal experience. It's all so that you have the ability to like essentially follow that goal. You have to be like mentally on board, and that's I just think that all of those little things, like me thinking of like a material possession, I'm like, it might help me like grind through the day out quicker, you know what I mean? But it's not like, I think that clear vision just shows that, or it doesn't show, but you kind of just can kind of like internalize and just, I think just line up all your energy and just go for it. You know what I mean? Because the biggest thing here is just consistency towards something that's going to make you money.
Yeah, for sure. Consistent action, doing the right things, heading in the right direction, you'll definitely succeed. Like, one of the things I always like to say is like, it's still possible to never give up and still fail because you run out of time. So you got to be taking action quickly. And I've been asked before, like, how did you not give up in the beginning when it was hard? And that's a big topic, and we can get into that. But like, that's something we can cover a lot too, is like how to make sure you're staying in the game when things get tough. And that's really, really important stuff, because most people, yeah, they reach those kind of roadblocks, and that's the end of it. So
Yeah,
there's has to be a motivation component, and all that stuff too, which is big. But it's motivation and goals are nothing without the tactics that work, that bring in dollars. So yeah, that's really, really kind of the A and B of what I want to cover.
Yeah, man. So kind of what do you want to dig into today? You want to dig into kind of like where we're from, and kind of what I guess what we got going on too. You know what I mean? Because like, that's another thing about the gurus, man. Like, I don't want to rant too hard, because I do love them, and they're fantastic, but they're very vague about their businesses as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I made my I
And
made
yeah, so
four I made
we've been
I made 400 million working over there, and I was the CEO. And let me I'm not going to tell you how I did it, but
yeah, totally. So like, yeah, like we're at like a really interesting stage where we both have momentum, but we're still early on. But like we've been talking about doing episode one forever because we're so busy every single day, really running our own businesses. So
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
let's tell people why they should even listen to us. So like little backstory, a little where we're at now. So
Sure. Yeah.
you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll take it away, man. So Kyle and I, we've actually known each other since grade 6. We grew up on the same street together. He was he was way cooler than I was. But
Yeah,
yeah, and so I guess so after high school, I knew that I didn't want to stay in my hometown because there just wasn't a lot going on. And I think it was just kind of the general consensus that everyone knew that there wasn't there wasn't a lot going on, right? So I got an opportunity to move to Whistler, and become a heavy duty mechanic. So long story short, I got my heavy duty mechanic red seal, moved to Fort Mac. I spent 5 years up there, and the work environment was just terrible. And so I wanted to start my own business. So I incorporated a lighting company. I don't really know why I chose lighting. I mean, I always like, I don't know, bright things, I guess, and just I'm kind of like a crow, you like shiny objects, I guess. So I started that in 2013, and just sourcing things from overseas all over the place. And I brought my first order in 2013, and I remember my roommate at the time, Taylor. She was like, "Oh my God, that's such a good idea. You're gonna be rich." And you know what's funny, man? I'll never forget that. I'll never forget those people along the way that are like, "That's sick. Like, you should do that." It's really good positive reinforcement. But so 2013, and then I was still working in Fort Mac as a heavy duty mechanic, and I was doing that on 7 days on, 7 days off, and I was kind of grinding a little bit through 2014, 2015, and I think the accountant said that I made in 2014. I don't think I made $1 with my business that year. So I think that we filed no income for 2014, and then 2015 I think was no income as well, and then I was just started selling to like family, friends, and stuff like that, and kind of that's it's been going since 2016 now, and just trying to get bigger clients, and we've signed some pretty decent clients, and so now we're just trying to expand, and trying to get into more dealerships, and just the whole I actually remember back when I was working for McMurray, I said that I wanted to make I had a dream to sell back to the mining industry, and you know what, that's actually happened now. So we're selling back to the mining industry, and I think that's you kind of don't really take time to be like, I did that, you know what I mean? It was just kind of just something I was just like, that would be sick, that would be cool. And I saw the prices that they were getting charged, and I said, I was like, wow, I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to say it, but it's kind of on the borderline of gouging, you know what I mean? So I wanted to bring a good product to the market at a suitable price, and literally just try to make people happy, man. Like, it's not rocket science, like I want to make people happy. And, when people tell me about their lighting experiences with us and stuff like that, like it makes me happy 100%, and it's probably something that keeps me going, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. That reminded me of something. So, yeah, so you were working for changing lights for heavy equipment, and you asked someone how much it cost for one of these lights, and they told you the price, and it was insane. And that was that light bulb moment when you're like, oh, I could probably get this for cheaper.
Yeah.
And so for everyone listening, so Evan used to work for a giant oil company. And then a couple other ones, but now he has quit his job, and now he's selling these lights to those companies now. So now they're paying him way more as a supplier. So like, imagine quitting your job, and now you're like, I don't know, in business with that company now too, but you're your own boss. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty insane thing, man, which is really, really super cool. And just tell people like, kind of like, who you're supplying, like what kind of, how many, like the different mines and power sports and stuff.
So I love the snowmobile. I do love the snowmobile, but it just kind of, it's not a big priority on my list right now. So the snowmobile sat in the shed for a while now, but yeah, now we sell to Diamond Mine up in Northwest Territories, and we sell to a few different oil sands companies. And then with our power sports line, that was just kind of a hobby thing. How did that come about? I remember I wanted to put a light on handlebars for a snowmobile for some reason, but when I was at work, I had the tools to do it, so I made this little crappy little bracket, and I put it on my friend's snowmobile in Fort McMurray, and then I guess that was probably the real beginning. I contacted a factory in Calgary here, and they laser cut some brackets for us, and so we put those. I kind of got it. There's so many funny little things that I'm thinking about now that I did it, but
That's awesome.
So I contacted a factory in Calgary, and they laser cut the brackets out, and then they powder coated them black for us, and then we made the first sample for my boy Tyler for his sled, and he had that on his sled until he sold it, but. We sent it to a couple different distributing companies, and they liked what we sent them, and they said, "Yeah, we will absolutely carry this." And then they kind of that was a real organic takeoff. I didn't really have to push that one too hard, which was really nice. But now it's just recurring sales. Now it's just recurring sales. What's the word I'm looking for? In the winter, I guess.
Seasonal.
Thank you. Seasonally.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous on my first podcast experience.
That's awesome. And so, yeah, you sell them direct off your website, and you have like distributors, right? Like, in the States
Western
that
Power
sell it,
Sports
right?
and Kimpex, we both sell to them. So, Western Power Sports is in 10,000 dealerships in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I get an order from them, I get some anxiety because they overwhelmed us pretty good last year. But hopefully this year we'll be the same. We haven't had any orders yet from them, but that should probably be coming up pretty quick. And then Kimpex as well, and Kimpex is in 2,500 different dealerships throughout Canada as well.
Man, that's so cool. So for all you listeners, man, Evan, like tiny little ideas, like one little bracket for a snowmobile turned into like selling all over North America, like kind of pioneering a little niche market for recreational. And then just one question about a light on a heavy hauler in a mine turned into like landing these big whale clients and money coming in over and over. So man, little ideas and like constant pressure on that. Man, super impressive stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. Because like I was actually thinking about that today. I was like, imagine if we spent like 50. I don't have 50% more time, but imagine spending 50% more time on kind of just like gauging interest from your followers on Instagram or Facebook, and just kind of like asking, like, I know that's what you did with your business. What's the biggest weakness for a surfer, and then you came up with a solution for that. But you could do that all the time. You could do that in any area. I was actually talking to my friend Kristen as well, and she wants to start a business, and she's like, what should I start? And I can't remember where I heard this, but it was I don't really remember how I heard this or why this was idea floating around in my head, but I was thinking, what's the biggest, well, I guess business is just solving people's problems. And the amount of money that you make is directly proportional to the size of that problem that you solve. Mm-hmm. So I said to Kristen, I said, what's a big problem within, she's a doctor, veterinarian. And so she started banging off ideas. I want to be very transparent on the podcast, but if people have some things in the works, I don't really want to spill it on air, but I will be as transparent as I possibly can on my podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's awesome.
that was just a thing that, you know, she was like, that's a good idea. And then she started, you know, coming up with, you know, we could do this, we could do that. And, you know, if you're listening to this and you're trying to figure out a business plan, like, you know, what is something at your job that is like an absolute nightmare to deal with? Can you solve that? Can you quit your job and start a company to solve that problem, or solve that, you know, I know, you know, like I think would be a good company would be the ice cream machines at McDonald's, you know?
Yeah, those things are always broken. That's
Absolutely.
hilarious. Yeah. And yet that shift happened for me too. Like, it's instead of focusing on like dollars, like how many dollars can I come in? It's like, how amazingly can I solve these really specific problems? How many people can I help? And the dollars follow that too. So yeah, it's all
Absolutely.
about problem solving. Business is problem solving for sure.
And, you know, it's just, I probably spend some of my free time kind of not very responsibly, but, you know, I watch a lot of like silly YouTube videos, but some of these guys, you know, like if you're the best at hanging off of a skyscraper, you know, like you're probably going to make some money from that.
Yeah.
Picked up from an advertising company or someone that wants to see some like death-defying stunts, or, you know, like even the best, you know, the people that play the best video games in the world are making bank too, you know? So like you said just a minute ago, like it's not about, you know, how much money is in that certain area. Like, depending on the area, you know, if you're good enough at what you do, you're going to probably make more money than you ever, you know, thought possible, or more money than you need anyway.
Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're the best, there's going to be room
100%.
for you in the market, and there's going to be money there for sure. 100%,
Absolutely.
man. And so focus is important. It's like that singularity of focus, especially in the beginning, man. Like, pick something, pick anything. And
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I know it's weird, you know, you think about it and you're like, well, I don't know if there's enough money in that or whatever, but I don't think it matters.
yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's interesting to watch the world evolve and how people are just creating markets, man, never existed before, man. It's constantly changing so fast with technology and social media and the internet and like anything, man. There's like industries disappearing and new ones popping up, man. So like the
Yeah,
opportunities are
absolutely. Every
just
day, all time.
yeah.
So tell me, what do you, you know what? I'm actually like, I'm genuinely curious because like I know what you do and I see your posts and stuff all the time, but you know, the inner workings of it and like kind of like where you're at right now, I'm pretty interested.
Yeah. So for me, man, like, so I feel like I know now, looking back, that I was born to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't figure it out until I was in my early 30s. So, you know, yeah, me and Evan grew up across the road from each other, super tight homies ever since. And for me, like, I was smart, but I always did bad in school. Like, things were easy for me, math, reading, all that stuff, but I
Yeah.
would always be just above failing because I just hated it. It was like torture to me. And another big thing, I was never lazy, but I hated all my jobs. I never did my hardest work at work. I'd always do like just enough not to get fired because I just didn't like any of my jobs, man. So it's like I just didn't fit anywhere, right? So I was just like I was constantly in pain. I didn't have a direction. I didn't focus. That led to tons of drinking and drug use. That became my thing. It became who I was.
Right.
And so I can tell the story a little bit deeper, but later. But I reached like a low point, and then me and you reconnected in like late 20s, and you brought me up to Fort McMurray. We were working on the mines.
Yeah.
So I got a job with the big oil company, which was great. I was able to like basically quadruple my income just by getting hired on by a big company. And that's money solves a ton of problems. So when I got that job, I'm like, I've made it. Like, I'm finally, like, I can have all this like freedom and money and stuff.
Yeah.
Soon enough, after I had that job, it just became another job, and that income became my new normal. And all of a sudden, I'm living away from the part of the world where I wanted to be, and I was certainly in pain again. I was like, I felt trapped at this job now. I was like, because I didn't have a way to make good money anywhere else. I wasn't building skills that transferred. I was operating heavy equipment. So I started looking for ways to get out. And like for me, I didn't have entrepreneurial examples around me. So my mind still hadn't gone there. So I was thinking of careers, what other things I could do that would apply so I could travel back or live back on the coast. I was thinking about being like a power engineer and different things, but like all those things required me to go back to school, which I hated. So that wasn't going to happen. And what really sparked it for me, I was listening to lots of podcasts. I was listening to Joe Rogan a lot. And this girl that I work with suggested a podcast to me. It was called Addicted to Success. It was entrepreneur. I'm like, I'll try it. And dude, once I started listening to entrepreneurs talk about building businesses and making money, it was just like my whole freaking world exploded, man. It's like I was seeing with different eyes. I became obsessed just like that. Like basically overnight, I started only listening to entrepreneurial podcasts. I only read entrepreneurial books, and it hasn't stopped since. That's like become my whole life. So what I was like, what kind of business should I start? I was thinking of it, and I surfed a lot growing up. It wasn't my main thing, but at this stage of my life, I became re-obsessed with it somehow. And so I was trying to figure out a way to start a surfing business. I was thinking about doing clothes and stuff, but I wasn't really passionate about clothes, and like the surfing industry doesn't need another t-shirt company. And so I started learning about like information marketing, like people selling information. And one thing that I had learned, so from traveling or living away from the ocean, I could suddenly afford to go on all these surf trips, but being out of the water put me way out of shape. So I go on these surf trips and get crushed. Mm-hmm. So I was already figuring out ways to stay in shape for surfing without surfing.
Oh, so no way.
That became my product. And so I started learning like literally baseline of marketing, like social media, how to make a product, all that stuff. And it started out, it was crap. It was just total shit. And it just like got better over time. And the main thing is helping people build their paddle strength. So paddling on a surfboard is like running with your arms. So when you're on land, you lose it instantly.
Right.
So I manufacture these resistance bands that help people build them. I sell it with videos and breath training, how to hold your breath, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's grown insane. Like, so right now, I've sold products to people in over 50 countries. It might be over 60 now. But I've really, really honed it down. I used to have a ton of products. I eliminated them all. I only have one product now. I've steadily raised my prices. My prices are a lot now, actually. So I only have like a certain clientele. I have less customers, but making more money. My main markets are California and New South Wales in Australia. And yeah, it's incredible. I've really, really multiplied revenue many times, making more money with less effort. And man, it's been super exciting. So for a little bit of context, I still operate heavy equipment, which sucks. Totally sucks. I'm in Fort McMurray now because I'm in a contract with them. So they gave me a down payment for my house, and they subsidized my mortgage. So they're giving me lots of money every month. And so if I quit, I have to pay a bunch of that back. But I left that subsidy program, so I haven't been getting their money for a while.
Oh,
we're gonna sell our house in the spring, and we've bought another house back on the coast. So I'm making multiple times more with my business than I am with my paychecks. It's literally costing me money to go to work. Last month I got COVID and I spent a month home without having to go to work. I had my set a revenue record by not having to go to my job.
Sick. That's awesome.
It's so cool. So honestly, if I were to get fired today, I'd be totally fine. It just wouldn't be ideal. So we're selling our house in the spring. We're moving back to the coast. We're going full time. I got 3 employees now. I'm looking for number 4, and I'm in a growing niche. Surfing fitness. I started out, I was one of the originals. There's lots of people coming up behind me, but none of them are none of them are even competition at this point. But it's just a growing industry, man. And it's like I help 2 main people: beginner surfers who are struggling to make progress, and experienced surfers who find their fitness decline after having kids or starting their jobs or with age or
interesting.
Whatever.
Okay, so that's a couple demographics there that are interesting.
It's a really specific demographic. I'd say 90% of my clients now are between the ages of 40 and 60.
No way.
Cool. So and I just sell on the phone. So it's a physical product, but it's cheap. My margins are super high.
Right.
And man, it's great. So I get to talk to people all over the world, talking about surfing, man. It's the dream. So and the cool thing about doing this podcast is I can help share how to do that.
Yeah.
Sell
absolutely.
product. Get customers, get leads, get products, take care of customers, but also can take you on the journey for the next level too, because I'm blowing this up to $multi-million corporation. We're going to be all over the place and just expanding our products and stuff, and really, and like you guys can come along for the ride when the day I quit my job and stuff too. So super excited to share that stuff, man.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Is that we are absolutely not claiming that we've made it. Absolutely not. But, this is just as much for the listener as it is for us. You know what I mean? Like, how fun is it going to be like when we're 50, 55, 60 or whatever, looking at these videos again? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I never thought about that. It's like, yeah, it's like documenting it. Like
It kind of will be,
for
and then I
watch.
think, I hope as the podcast grows, obviously people aren't going to like jump on this right away, but they're going to go back and, if they kind of like what we say in probably like episode 20 or 30 or whatever, they'll say like, well, they didn't really touch on, where they came from and stuff. And boom, that's where you can start. Start at the beginning. And you can kind of just like see everything all the way up to what we've done. And, we're at 30 minutes right now. So, we keep these like fairly short. We won't talk your ear off for, an hour and a half or whatever. The 30-minute mark is kind of good for me. Like on podcasts, like 20 to 40 is good, but like an hour and a half, 2 hours is kind of a big commitment, when you're listening to a full podcast, like you anyway, you start it and then you drive an hour and it just takes too long to get through it. So anyway, I think these episodes will probably be around like maybe 30, 40 minutes or so, but and just something to help. So like, we have not made it yet, but we are starting here, and just literally like anything, you don't really think anything is hard until you actually try it. It doesn't matter what it is. A server, I'd be scared as shit to be a server, to be honest with you right now. Imagine if you started as a server tomorrow. Fuck. No, thank you. You know what I mean? But like, God, just like anything, it's just, even this podcast, for example, we had to start it and stop it like multiple times today, to figure it out. And just like anything, the background behind my head is going to change. Like, so it's just like anything, you don't really start with much, and, you learn a ton along the way. And I think I think it's going to be a super fun journey.
Yeah, man, you made some really good points there, like about just jumping into things and getting messy, making mistakes, breaking things. It's the only way to learn, and that's why we just kind of got messy with the podcast and like figured out all the kinks right away. And then also, like you said, like neither one of us feel like we've made it. Like when even though we have like all these wins and all these things, it's like I never feel like I'm at my potential or killing it. I'll never be like, oh, I'm totally killing it, because like my visions are so big compared to where I am right now.
Absolutely.
But it's cool now, because where we're at, and this podcast is cool to look back and like see the things that we actually have accomplished, because I knew that I'm always looking forward. Now it's like, we actually have, like, you've literally like got amazing giant clients. You've quit your job. You've like sourced products from all over the place, man. You've got a big global brand, and like, dude, like I've done a few cool things too that I never appreciate, and that's the hardest part, to getting that
100% is the hardest part,
momentum in the beginning. Like, so for those people that like are just like don't have what there's like self-esteem things, confidence things, like
absolutely,
first steps and like belief and all that stuff, like getting those first steps are the hardest. And like really, like now that we both have momentum, it's just like those things, it's easier to share those things now that we're at. So it's, I don't know, the point
it is for sure, man. And you know what, that's a
early journey.
That's a good point. It's just because literally, like, there'll be some times where I guess, I'm still in the awkward position, or like the awkward point in the business right now. But like, if I don't have an order in like a week, sometimes like I'll literally think to myself, I'll be like, can I make it? Like, is this going to happen? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's actually frightful, like what you're just explaining. It's the whole mental shift of, can I do this, to like, yes, I can. Just like Henry Ford says, you can or you cannot. The choice is yours.
It's whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right.
I got lots of quotes, but anyways. But absolutely. It's just, so just for anybody listening, like, if you're not happy where you are, like, you literally can do it. I see so much potential in so many of my friends. And, I guess, you got to put the caveat in there as well, that a lot of people are just happy doing what they're doing, right? And that's fantastic. Like, if you're doing that, literally keep on doing that. But but honestly, I guess I'll say it, but like, this podcast is not going to be for everybody.
This is not for people who are happy where they're at. This is for people.
No, like, I absolutely, if you even listen to this point and you're still happy with where you're at, like, more power to you, because that is literally fucking amazing.
Yeah, enjoy that.
100% enjoy that. But like
Yeah,
for the
for
people that
sure.
want more because you got a couple screws loose in the head or whatever, like keep on listening.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, entrepreneurship's not for the faint of heart, man. It's like taking all that risk and responsibility on yourself. But
Yeah.
man, it's like I know lots of people think about it and have goals because ever since I started making money with my business, whether it's people in my personal life or people online, I hear so many business ideas, like things people want to do that they're about to do.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's ever made step one,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's like so. It's the dude. It's that day one, step one stuff that kills 99% of people's entrepreneurial aspirations. So,
Yeah,
man,
it's
I think
true, man.
we're pretty primed to actually make a big dent. I think in like helping people in those stages, man. So,
I really hope
yeah,
so, man.
I
Like,
think it's
you know,
cool.
I would just, if wherever you're seeing this on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, like just reach out to us and just drop a comment or whatever, and, you know, and we would love to hammer out some questions and comments and stuff on you know that you type up. Like we'd love to be able to connect with you, and I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I think it'll be somewhat fulfilling as well. You know, like just trying to help people because that's literally like I'd love to do that.
Oh, 100%, man. Like I've been hanging on by a thread not to share business and personal development content on my surfing pages because I'm just so passionate about it, man. Because I really want to help people who need it, man. And
Totally. I think yeah,
yeah,
like I said
totally,
earlier,
totally.
like I think it'll be fun. It'll just kind of be like a foundation to, just keep it going, talk about
Mhm,
it, talk
mhm.
about it on our time off, and then
Yeah,
live it every day too, right?
yeah. Mhm. Yeah, and now
Yeah.
that we've got the backstories out of the way and stuff, like the episodes coming up can be like super focused, tactical, to the point kind of stuff too, man. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like keep it to that 30-40 minute range like you're talking about.
totally.
All
Yeah,
right, yeah,
I
so
guess another one thing that I wanted to say was that, you know, I think everyone has the ability to be able to quit. And there is that quote, like, you're never ever going to actually feel ready for it, which is somewhat
mhm.
true. But I do think that you also need to be prepared as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a delicate balance to that for sure, man.
Yeah, don't just
100% agree with
fucking quit
that.
your job.
That could be a whole episode, man. Oh, for sure, man. Lots of people try to do that. It's crazy, right? Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
why, like in the beginning, it's like, yeah, how to turn your goal to your side hustle.
Yeah.
Get your side hustle to replace your main hustle,
Right.
or make it your main hustle, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, man. Yeah, that. Oh man, there's so much cool stuff we can share. So let's before we end, let's give the people like a snapshot, like where we're at today. What's your day to look like? Like you're in a really crazy part of your business right now.
Day to day is I wake up and in my best days are the ones where where literally it's the hardest, and I hit the gym in the morning first thing.
Mhm.
First thing in the morning, hit the gym, come home, have something to eat, and then I'll get into some emails, and then just I have a bunch of different avenues. Another like-minded entrepreneur, he buys quite a bit of stuff for me for his aftermarket truck bumper manufacturing company, Misguided Fabrication, out of Strathmore. So they buy quite a bit of stuff from me. So it's just usually checking out a couple different avenues and banging out some orders and stuff. And if it's a quiet day, then I'll most likely reach out to some new clientele and just try to grow the business. And then I take every day is kind of the same. I'm getting it's you gotta master the mundane. But I really don't. I don't think that there's a problem with switching it up, but I think there's a lot of mundane stuff here. But when you stop and sit down and kind of think about how far you've come, even just year over year, you know what I mean? Just even looking at the account software and just looking at revenues. If you need a little, as David Goggins says, if you need a little cookie or a cookie out of the cookie jar to kind of like get you going, looking at what you did even last month, and trying to beat that,
Yeah.
I guess. So, yeah, I'm wearing a ton of hats right now. I have outsourced quite a few positions, marketing, graphic design, accounting, bookkeeping. That's all outsourced. Because I don't have the time to do that, and I have the money to pay for it, which is really nice.
Mhm.
But but I guess it would be packing orders, interacting with customers. And then at nighttime, I usually get orders together and kind of just throughout the day when I have some free time, just trying to expand on new ideas and do the things that don't make me money, which is really the toughest things to do. But
so hard.
Honestly, man, the days go by so fast, and that's kind of a day to day. You know, it's a basic business principle. You know, I get suppliers, they supply me with what I need, and then I raise the price up to North American standards to pay for all my, insurance and shipping, marketing, all of that stuff. And then I sell the products to people that want great products and, really appreciate, I guess, good quality, good customer service. And it's literally my life, man. Like, I think that's another thing that you need to point out as well, is that your life is not going to be balanced if you're an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to stick it to the business, and you need to forget some of those. We can get into this more so later on, but into those I guess life is like a playground, I guess, and it's entertainment. You gotta get rid of that stuff,
Oh yeah.
Get your mind right, hit the gym, and just bang out the business. At the end of the day, literally your drive depends on how bad you want what you want and where you want to be and where you want to end up.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that's my spiel.
Yeah, I'll add on to Evan's situation just a little bit, just so you guys know. Evan's a bit of a superstar. The amount of products coming and going through Evan's world is insane. The complexity of his business, and for him to run and manage it all, is insane. His house is literally like 90% a warehouse right now. He's constantly like reinvesting to get more products in so he can fulfill, and all these things are happening. His business is 1,000 times more complex than mine. And just in case you didn't catch that, he doesn't take days off. He's doing this every single day, man. That's the life of an entrepreneur, growing a business and having big aspirations. So congratulations on that, buddy. I love it.
Thanks, dude. I will add that sometimes I do completely spontaneously combust and spend half a day in bed.
Yeah, the transparency, man. It's real, man. Yeah,
for sure.
Man.
You can't say that you give it everything you got 24/7. Like it's literally not humanly possible.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you? Like, I literally don't even know. I know that I know quite a bit, but I don't know the intricate details.
So for me, so I'm, like I said, I'm working at my job. So I do shift work. I work 6 days on and I take 6 days off. And so for me, all of my sales happen on the phone. I get my leads on Instagram. So I make posts, I DM people, a little bit of advertising, and they book calls with me. So it's inbound marketing. So they select a time and place where they want to talk to me. I phone them on the phone. I sell them on the phone. I close at a really high rate, like 80 to 90%, which is great. But what that means
that's
is
insane, by the way.
Yeah. Oh man, it's been great. Just feeling I can share all the tacticals of that in the future for sure, because it's been a lot. It wasn't always like that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you started like your closing was like 1 in 10 or something like that at the start.
Yeah. 1 in 10 people weren't even showing up to the phone calls in the beginning, or 1 in 10 were showing up. So anyway, the problem with that though is I'm the bottleneck. So when I'm at my job, my revenue, my business stops,
right,
except for like people who follow ups, or I get recurring revenue, but it's not much, right?
Yeah.
So that's the hugest problem. So for me, my day-to-day looks like this. When I'm at work, my job, I do social media. I'm trying to gather leads and stuff. But on my days off, it's like hustle. Like I got so much to do. I'm on the phone. I'm doing content. I'm like following up people. I'm fulfilling, like giving people the product and helping people, coaching, like keeping all the promises I made the product would give them, and all that stuff. So
yeah, it's insane too, man.
Yeah, dude, the constant start and stop is insane. And also, I'm married. I have 2 little kids, 2 boys, age 4 and 1. So for all you people that think having kids, you don't have the time, hey man, literally, I do not have the time, and I sacrifice, like Evan was saying, is huge. Like just a tiny little bit more of a backstory, man. I used to watch every sport: football, basketball, golf, soccer, everything. I used to golf like 20, 30 rounds a day. I used to drink like insane. I don't do any of that anymore.
Yeah.
And don't cry for me, because running my business is 1,000 times more fun than any of those things. I celebrate my
100%.
own wins rather than other people's wins now, like from watching sports. So yeah, so my day to day is, it's just trying to hustle. So I got 3 employees now: a guy who does my video editing, a girl who does customer service, and then a guy who helps me with the coaching of the surfers. I'm looking for another person to help me with lead generation, so I'll just only be on the phone, so I can just constantly knock those down. And
Okay.
then the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
thing, I'll get someone to be on the phone for me. So I'm moving from everyday task doer to like more of like a chess player trying to move the pieces around. So and
Interesting.
then
Yeah.
when I quit, this coming spring, hopefully, if everything goes as planned, I'll be more of a team leader rather than the guy that has to be there every day for revenue to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. And then then you won't be the bottleneck, and then you can outsource to different salespeople, and then I think at that point your revenue will probably like multiply quite a bit, and I guess you can probably do some more course content as well.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like my course, like there's so many updates I want to do to it. There's other products I want to do. It's just like I have to keep money coming in, or I won't be able to quit. I won't be able to like reach my goals. So once I have these systems in place, the money becomes more systematized. I can do this more high level stuff and just like, and yeah, that's the game. So like the game of entrepreneurship is constantly replacing yourself, learning new skills, getting someone else to do it, then learning the next higher level skills, then finding someone else to do it. And it's like a really fun thing. So, and the cool thing, one big thing. So like the shipping, I have a physical product. I outsource that too. So I have my shipping taken care of. So I never touch a product that goes straight from manufacturing to the warehouse. And I never touch.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's sick.
Shipping was the nightmare for me to do when I was doing it on my own. So
for sure.
Yeah, that's another lesson for another time.
Didn't you tell me like one time you're going to the you went to the post office with like 20 or 30 parcels?
Oh my God, multiple times. And they're just like, and I'm the asshole in line. There's like people waiting behind me, and it's like I don't have the right stickers on them and shit. And they're just like, "What are you doing?"
Totally.
So like,
that's their domain, and you're fucking it up.
Yeah. And honestly, paying a distributor to warehouse it, the fees for shipping it, the postage, it's cheaper and saves me all the time. So I don't know. And it's like,
that's a win-win, 100%.
These little things, man. That was like that saved me. So like, oh man, we're getting into the weeds here, like with the tactics here. We could go on forever, but like, that's one of the big things that has been like when I'm the most stressed and I feel like I'm gonna implode and like I can't handle all the tasks I need to do, is when I hired someone and just alleviated all that stress and my business grew. So and it's scary to hire too, but it's always been the right decision so far for me. But
yeah, no, that's my next thing is I have to hire somebody that's gonna essentially, I guess another person that's gonna wear a bunch of hats.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to. So I need to find somebody that wants to hustle, and you don't have to be an entrepreneur either. But so that's what this podcast is about. But you can also kill it. That's what we're going to be talking about as well. Is killing every area of your life. So you can be killing it at your job too, and that's what I want to find. Is I want to find somebody that wants to kill it at their job. Like ideally, it's going to be somebody that wants to make a lot of money and, can kind of get behind my vision and stuff like that. And honestly, all depends, however hard they want to work, that's how much money they're going to make. You know what I mean? Like there's no cap on it because, we will be offering commissions. And, if you really want to kick ass, like we'll be able to help with that, and then that's going to help me grow as well. So I think it's literally a win-win.
100%, man. Yeah, so cool. I love it, man.
Yeah.
Just providing a big enough opportunity for everyone else around you, man.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a fantastic place to wrap up.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
for
Oh
episode
man, that
one.
was fun.
Yep.
Honestly, I was really enjoying that. I could kept going forever, man. Talk all the time. So we got lots of so many different things we can talk about. So yeah,
Yeah,
we'll end
absolutely.
it
No,
there.
I'm excited to stop this podcast and to see how it turned out. We're gonna chop this up and put it on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and we're in Spotify. We've got a company that's gonna push it to a bunch of different places that podcasts are host. Hopefully, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud.
Yeah, yeah. So for if you like this kind of content, you're gonna be with us for the journey. The easiest way to support us, costs you nothing, is just to give us a subscribe, leave a comment, tell a friend.
Absolutely.
Cool. That's it. Love you guys. Can't wait to go on this journey with you. All you help you guys live lives of freedom and control. Peace.